I always thought my career at the marketing agency was solid. Stable. Until that lunch break when everything shifted. We were all sitting around the break room table, half eating, half scrolling through our phones, when Matt, never one to keep his mouth shut, grinned and said loudly, "So, Angela, you actually started a YouTube channel? What is it, salad recipes?" The table erupted in laughter. Someone else chimed in, "Yeah, Angela's gonna be the next TikTok star for stay-at-home moms." Even Sarah, my usually composed manager, cracked a smirk. I sat there, picking at my sandwich, forcing a smile, pretending it didn't bother me. But inside? I was on fire. My channel, Market Smart, was barely a month old, and I had 300 subscribers. Tiny. Laughable, to them. But not to me. That night, I went home to my tiny apartment, flicked on my ring light, and stared straight into the camera lens. My heart pounded. Let them laugh now, I whispered to myself. Because deep down, I knew, this was my shot. I was all in. I wasn't going to let them define me. Not this time. Weeks passed, and something shifted, quietly at first. I kept uploading, every evening after work, tutorials, case studies, bite-sized marketing hacks for small businesses. My subscriber count ticked up slowly. 500, then 1,200. Still small. Still invisible to most people. Then it happened. One night, I uploaded a video called "How to Promote Your Etsy Shop for Free, 5 Proven Tactics." I went to bed like always, expecting the usual trickle of views. By morning? 25,000 views. And climbing fast. My notifications exploded. Comments poured in. "This is exactly what I needed." Subscribed instantly. "Please do more like this." My hands were shaking as I refreshed the analytics page. 10K subscribers within 2 days. At work, I kept my head down, but I felt different. Stronger. Like I was holding a secret they had no idea about. "Hey, Angela," Matt called across the office one afternoon, grinning. "Posted any salad videos lately?" A few chuckles. I smiled politely and kept typing. I didn't need to say a word. That week, I got my first sponsorship email, a small software company offering $300 for a shout-out. Not life-changing, but it was real. I accepted instantly. Soon after, local businesses started reaching out for private consultations. Something was happening. And for the first time, I let myself wonder, what if this wasn't just a side hustle? What if this was the thing? By month 3, things had shifted from interesting to "holy crap, this is real." Every video I posted now crossed 20,000 views within days. My subscriber count blew past 50,000, and the comments section turned into a mini community, people sharing tips, asking questions, begging for more content. It was thrilling and overwhelming all at once. One Monday morning, as I walked into the office, I noticed something different. The usual side-eye glances were still there, but now, there was something else too. Curiosity. Unease. Matt, who had once been the loudest with his jokes, now barely looked at me. Emily, another coworker who had laughed along with him, awkwardly asked, "Hey, Angela, that video you did about SEO hacks, my cousin saw it. Said it was actually helpful." Actually helpful. I smiled, polite but cool. Glad to hear it. But the moment that really made me pause came later that week. I was staying late, finishing a report, when Sarah, my manager, knocked on my cubicle wall. "Hey, got a minute?" I nodded, heart racing a little. Had I done something wrong? She perched on the edge of my desk, looking uncomfortable. "So, I've been meaning to ask. My husband's launching a side business, custom woodworking. He's struggling to get traction online." She hesitated. "I know you have that YouTube thing. Market Smart, right?" I checked it out. "It's impressive. Would you consider consulting for him?" Paid, of course. For a second, I was stunned into silence. This was the same woman who had smirked when Matt teased me about salad videos. And now she wanted my help, professionally. I kept my face neutral. I'd be happy to set up a session. Let's talk details. She looked relieved. Great. I'll email you. After she left, I sat back in my chair, staring at the screen. I couldn't stop smiling. At home that night, I updated my vision board. A few months ago, my wildest dream was to hit 10,000 subscribers. Now? I was thinking bigger. Way bigger. The next week brought another sponsorship deal, this time for $1,500. My first four-figure payment. I cried when I saw the contract. It wasn't just the money. It was proof. Proof that this thing everyone had mocked was turning into something real. But of course, success attracts shadows. Rumors started floating around the office. Little whispers, Angela's not focusing on her work, she's always distracted with that YouTube thing. I heard them, even when they thought I didn't. Sarah called me in again. Some people feel you're stretched thin. I know your channel's taking off, but your focus here matters. I kept my voice steady. My performance metrics are still top tier. I haven't missed a deadline. She nodded, but I could see the calculation in her eyes. It was a warning. But I didn't feel fear. Not anymore. Walking back to my desk, I realized something: my job was no longer my safety net. My channel was becoming my freedom plan. And deep down, I knew, the best was yet to come. If the office tension had been subtle before, it turned unmistakable now. Matt, once just annoying, now openly rolled his eyes anytime I spoke up in meetings. Emily whispered with others, casting sideways glances that they didn't even bother to hide anymore. And Sarah? My manager's tone shifted entirely. Where once there'd been polite curiosity about my little side project, now there was frost. Short answers. Cold eyes. One afternoon, during a team huddle, Sarah made a pointed comment: "We need everyone's full attention on client work. No distractions. No hobbies interfering with deliverables." Her eyes flicked to me. The message was clear. I clenched my jaw, forcing a calm smile. Understood. But inside? A storm was brewing. Because here's the thing, they saw my channel as a hobby. But it had become so much more than that. That same week, I hit 100,000 subscribers. 100,000. I stared at the silver plaque notification email from YouTube in total disbelief, tears welling up. Months ago, they laughed at 300 followers. Now? 6 figures. A real, thriving audience. As if on cue, my inbox pinged with something even crazier: a brand partnership offer from a major digital marketing firm. They wanted a full series collaboration, worth $15,000. I sat there, breathless, rereading the email over and over. $15,000. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my heart racing. This was it, the moment I'd dreamed of. The moment where my side hustle became a real contender. But with that excitement came fear. What if I wasn't ready? What if leaving the safety of my 9-to-5 was a terrible mistake? I kept thinking back to Sarah's cutting remark, Matt's sneers, the whispers around the office. I remembered all the times I'd felt small, belittled, overlooked. No. I was ready. The next morning, I emailed the brand: "I'd love to discuss the partnership. Let's set up a call." I walked into the office with my head high, feeling a power I hadn't felt in months. Matt muttered something as I passed. I didn't even hear it. Because in my mind, I was already halfway out the door. The deal with the brand was finalized within a week. I signed the contract with shaky hands, staring at the 5-figure sum, more than I made in 3 months at the agency. We launched the first video of the series, and the response was insane. 200,000 views in the first 48 hours, hundreds of comments, and my subscriber count shot past 120,000. It felt electric. But the office? It became unbearable. Sarah's coldness turned into full-on hostility. Every task I completed was picked apart. Every meeting felt like a personal attack. One Friday afternoon, she called me into her office. "Angela," she began, her voice clipped, "we've noticed your extracurriculars are taking a toll on your performance." I blinked, stunned. "My metrics are all on target." She sighed dramatically. "Perception matters, too. It's causing tension in the team." She leaned forward. "Frankly, you need to decide where your priorities lie. We expect 100% commitment. If you can't give that, maybe this isn't the place for you." It wasn't even subtle. I walked out of her office, pulse racing, head spinning. That night, I sat at my desk at home, staring at my laptop. The resignation email was open, blank except for my name at the top. Could I really do this? I thought about Matt's snide comments. About Sarah's condescension. About the $15,000 contract sitting in my bank account. About the 120,000 people who believed in what I was building. I took a deep breath and started typing. "Dear Sarah, please accept this email as formal notice of my resignation." I hit send. And just like that, it was done. I sat back, a strange mix of terror and exhilaration flooding through me. I was free, but for the first time in years, there was no safety net. I stared out my window at the city lights, whispering to myself, "Okay. Let's see what you're really made of." The first week after quitting felt like pure adrenaline. Every morning, I woke up early, full of energy, throwing myself into filming, editing, brainstorming new content. My apartment turned into a mini studio, tripods, ring lights, whiteboards filled with ideas. It was chaotic and beautiful. The subscriber count kept climbing, 150,000, 170,000, every day a little higher. New brands started reaching out. I secured 2 smaller sponsorship deals and began offering paid webinars for small businesses. My income that month? Double what I'd made at my old job. I felt invincible. Until the email arrived. It was from my main sponsor, the big one, the $15,000 deal. "Hi Angela, due to unforeseen internal restructuring, we have to pause all influencer collaborations effective immediately. We hope to work with you again in the future." My stomach dropped. I read it 3 times, hoping I'd misunderstood. But no, it was clear. The biggest pillar of my income, gone overnight. Panic crept in fast. I stared at my bank balance, calculating rent, utilities, all the bills. I'd been smart, saving as much as I could, but this was a huge blow. That evening, I called Jenna, my best friend. "What if I made a mistake?" I whispered. "What if I jumped too soon?" She didn't hesitate. "Angela, look how far you've come in 6 months. One sponsor doesn't define you. You are the brand." Her words hit hard. I spent the next day offline, regrouping, journaling, reminding myself why I started. By morning, I had a new plan: diversify. I launched a Patreon for exclusive content, pitched my own webinar series to my email list, and started building an online course. Within 2 weeks, the income gap was filled, and then some. It wasn't easy. I lost sleep. I doubted myself. But every time I posted a new video, read the comments, saw people genuinely learning and succeeding because of what I shared, I remembered, this was bigger than a paycheck. And as I watched my subscriber count hit 200,000, I knew, no sponsor could stop me now. The turnaround was faster than I expected. Within a month, my online course enrollment surpassed 500 students. Patreon hit its first big milestone, and I was finally making consistent, reliable income, more than I ever earned at the agency. I was busier than I'd ever been, but I was also fulfilled. Every day felt like building my own empire brick by brick. Then, out of nowhere, an unexpected message popped up on LinkedIn. It was Emily. "Hey Angela, hope you're doing well. Any chance you'd be open to catching up over coffee? I'd love to chat." I stared at the screen, shocked. Emily, the same Emily who laughed the loudest when Matt made his snide YouTube jokes. Now she wanted to meet? Curiosity got the better of me. I agreed. We met at a local cafe. Emily looked different. A little worn out, eyes darting nervously. After some small talk, she finally blurted, "So, I'm sure you've heard. The agency's not doing great. They've started laying people off." I nodded, keeping my face neutral. I'd heard some things. She hesitated, then leaned in. "Honestly, Angela, I've been watching your channel. It's incredible. I can't believe how far you've taken it." I raised an eyebrow, waiting. She took a deep breath. "I was wondering, are you hiring? Or maybe you'd consider bringing me on as a freelancer? I have experience in campaign management, and I really think I could help you scale even more." For a moment, I just looked at her, the full weight of irony hanging in the air. The same person who once laughed at my little hobby now wanted a piece of it. I smiled politely. "I appreciate the offer, Emily. Right now, I'm not expanding my team, but I'll keep you in mind." She nodded, clearly disappointed. "Of course. I understand." We parted ways, but as I walked out of the cafe, I couldn't help but grin. Because for the first time, it hit me, I wasn't just running a YouTube channel anymore. I was running a business that people, even my old coworkers, wanted to be part of. And the best part? I was just getting started. After that meeting with Emily, something clicked inside me. I'd spent so long trying to prove myself that I didn't realize I had already done it. There was no more need for validation. My success was out there, public, undeniable. Not long after, my inbox started buzzing with opportunities one couldn't have dreamed of months earlier. One morning, I woke up to an email with the subject line: "Keynote Invitation, Digital Marketing Conference 2025. I blinked in disbelief. They wanted me, to open a panel on small business growth through social media. I called Jenna, breathless. "You are not going to believe this." She screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "Angela, this is huge. You have to say yes." I laughed, still in shock. "I mean, I'm terrified. But yeah, I'm saying yes." It didn't stop there. A week later, a journalist from a well-known business magazine reached out, asking to feature me in a profile piece. From office punchline to YouTube powerhouse, Angela's journey. I sat back, staring at my laptop. The same girl who once cried in the bathroom after Matt's cruel jokes, now being profiled in national media. Wild. Meanwhile, my channel kept climbing, 300,000 subscribers. That number hit me harder than I expected. I filmed a special thank you video, opening up about my journey. A year ago, this was a dream. Today, it's a reality. And I couldn't have done it without all of you. The comments poured in. "Angela, you inspire me every day. I started my business because of your videos. We're so proud of you." But with growth came new challenges. Suddenly, it wasn't just me anymore. I needed help managing emails, editing, sponsorship deals. I started interviewing freelancers and slowly built a tiny team. It felt strange at first, me, the boss? But exciting too. One afternoon, as I reviewed my latest content plan with my new assistant, I got a message from Jenna. "Did you hear? The agency's shutting down. Full closure. Everyone's out." I froze, reading her words over and over. It was surreal. That place, which had once been my entire world, was gone. I thought about Sarah, Matt, Emily, all of them scrambling now. The same people who laughed at my risk-taking, who tried to make me feel small, were facing their own hard truths. And what did I feel? Not anger. Not revenge. Relief. Closure. Later that night, I went live on my channel. Thousands tuned in. As I answered their questions, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Not just for my success, but for the journey, the growth, the resilience I'd discovered along the way. One viewer asked, "Angela, what's your biggest takeaway from this whole experience?" I paused, thinking hard. Then I smiled. Never let anyone else define your worth. If you have a vision, chase it, no matter how small it seems. The people who laugh today might just be asking for a job tomorrow. And with that, I knew the story wasn't ending. It was only getting bigger. With the momentum in full swing, I focused hard on scaling up. I launched a new online course, this time a deep dive into SEO strategies for small business owners. Within 48 hours, over 1,500 people signed up. My email inbox was a flood of thank you notes and success stories. "Angela, I landed my first client thanks to your methods. Your videos changed my business, forever grateful." Every message felt like fuel for the fire. Meanwhile, invites kept rolling in. I was confirmed as a speaker at an international marketing conference in Berlin, my first big global stage. The idea of flying across the world to talk about the YouTube channel that once got me mocked? Surreal. Jenna celebrated with me over dinner. "Do you realize you've built an empire?" she grinned. "And it's just the beginning." I laughed, shaking my head. It still feels unreal. Sometimes I wonder when it's all going to sink in. But even empires need rest. For the first time in over a year, I booked a vacation. A solo trip to a quiet beach town, no cameras, no content calendar, just me, a journal, and the ocean breeze. On the second evening there, as I sipped coffee on my balcony watching the sunset, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Curious, I answered. "Hello?" There was a pause, then a familiar voice. "Angela." "It's Sarah." I blinked, stunned. "Sarah, as in my old boss Sarah." "Wow." "Hi," I said cautiously. "This is a surprise." She cleared her throat, sounding different. Softer. "I hope you don't mind me calling out of the blue. I've been watching your journey. What you've built, it's impressive." I waited, unsure where this was going. "I've started my own consulting firm," she continued. "And honestly, we're struggling with the digital side. I wondered if you might consider advising us?" Paid, of course. For a moment, I was speechless. The woman who once warned me that my distractions were hurting my career was now asking me for help. I smiled, my voice calm. "Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. Right now, I'm pretty booked, but I'll keep your firm in mind for future collaborations." She sounded disappointed but polite. "Of course. Best of luck, Angela." We hung up, and I sat there for a long moment, staring at the horizon. Jenna texted minutes later, "How's the vacation?" I replied, "Life is wild. Remind me to tell you everything when I'm back." Because in that moment, I realized something huge. My success wasn't just about proving them wrong anymore. It was about proving me right. And that was the best feeling of all. Returning from my vacation, I felt a new kind of energy, focused, calm, and determined. I hit the ground running, launching new projects, fine-tuning my courses, and expanding my digital presence. Within a few months, my YouTube channel crossed 500,000 subscribers, a milestone I never even dared to dream of when I first started. The business wasn't just me anymore. I had a real team now, editors, social media managers, even a personal assistant. At first, delegating felt strange. I'd been so used to doing everything myself. But slowly, I learned to trust others, to build something bigger than just my own two hands. Jenna and I celebrated every small win with coffee dates and champagne toasts. "Can you believe this started with them laughing at you?" she marveled one evening. I smiled. "I can. And honestly, I'm glad they did. It pushed me. More speaking gigs followed. I was featured on podcasts, panels, even a documentary about digital entrepreneurship. People who once brushed me off now introduced me at conferences as an industry leader. One of my proudest moments came when I was asked to mentor a group of young women launching their own online ventures. Sitting in that room, looking at their hopeful faces, I realized how far I'd come, not just in business, but in confidence. They asked me, "What's the secret to your success?" I thought for a moment, then said, "Stop waiting for permission. Start, even if they laugh. Especially if they laugh. Because nothing feels better than proving, to yourself most of all, that you're capable of more than they ever imagined." Looking back, this journey wasn't just about revenge. It wasn't even about proving them wrong anymore. It became a story of reclaiming my power, my voice, my worth. And as I stood on that stage in front of hundreds of aspiring entrepreneurs, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Completely free.